Good morning, friends, and welcome to this edition of Take Two for Monday, the 17th of December, 2018. We are just 1 week away from Christmas Eve. Are you ready? I'm kind of sort of ready, not 100% ready. I still have a little bit of wrapping to do and a few other things, but I'll be ready for Christmas when it gets here. Well, today I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about cliffhangers. And I'd like to explain to you why cliffhangers are like life and why cliffhangers are not like real life. Okay, so let me start by telling you about a series that Michael and I have been watching. We watched this series, which was 2 seasons. We never watched it when it was on regular broadcast television. We had never even heard of it before, but some friends of ours told us about it and said, you'd really, really enjoy this adventure series. I think you would like it. And, you know, you could just get it on demand or Netflix or wherever we found it, and you could even binge watch it if you want, and maybe get caught up before the next series starts. And I thought, oh, all right, so how many seasons would that be? And they said, well, it's 2 seasons have actually aired, and season 3 is coming up, and maybe you could just watch it and catch up, and then when season 3 arrives, you could watch it when it's on. And I said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So, excuse me. It ended up being like 35 episodes or something like that. It was a long series. So we've been watching and binging and watching, and we could watch like 3 or 4 or 5 in a row if we wanted to. I think the max was that we watched 4 in a row, and we just keep like with the remote in our hand, we're like, okay, just one more. Oh, because every single episode ended with a cliffhanger. Now, who doesn't love a good cliffhanger? You know, back about, I think it was maybe 35, close to 40 years ago, the series Dallas was on, and that was kind of an ongoing series, and there were lots of fun characters, people you love to hate, and that kind of thing. And JR, who was played by Larry Hagman, lovable Larry Hagman, who played an astronaut in I Dream of Jeanne, Tony. He now is playing the scoundrel of a character in Dallas, and at the end of one of the seasons, when it had really gained a lot of popularity and notoriety, he was shot. And we had to wait for months and months to find out who shot JR. There were t-shirts made up and all sorts of things. Comedy was done about it on Carol Burnett and things like that, just wondering who shot JR. And finally, at the start of the new season, you find out who the shooter was. Well, in this day and age, it's very different, because with on-demand television or DVRs taping stuff, and you could just watch it and just go through the commercials fast forward, it takes, you know, less effort to watch those shows to catch up before you're waiting for season 3. Well, guess what? We got to the end of season 2. We finished watching it. We were so excited. And so we made a comment to our friends and said, can't wait for season 3 to start. There was a huge cliffhanger at the end of season 2. And this is what we were told. Oh, didn't you hear? That series got canceled. There is no season 3. So here we had a big cliffhanger at the end of season 2 and nothing to watch in season 3 because it wasn't going to exist. You know, something like that always reminds me of the show Gilligan's Island. You remember that, Gilligan's Island, where they're stuck on that island, although the castaways all those years, and they were all expecting the cast to come in and sign contracts for the final season where they get rescued, and guess what? It got canceled, the series, and there never was a rescue. Until about 8 or 10 years later, somebody came up with an idea, hey, let's do a Return to Gilligan's Island TV movie where they finally get rescued. Well, sadly, some of the cast members didn't want to go back, and some of them were gone, so they had to modify, the writers had to modify it till eventually, you know, they tried to make this pitiful sequel, and then also did a few other subsequent ones, like the Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island. I mean, it was absolutely ludicrous. So it didn't have quite the same punch. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go back now to what I was saying. Why cliffhangers are like real life and why cliffhangers are not right like real life? Well, I'll start with why they're not like real life. Why are cliffhangers not like real life? Because you can't just binge watch and go to the next thing if you're done watching the first one. If you're finished, you can't say, okay, now I'll just fast forward and go to the next one. Cliffhangers are there, and they're there to grab your attention so that you'll keep your attention, so that you'll wait a week or wait a month or wait a season to get to the end. So that's how they are not like real life. You can't binge watch and fast forward. Now here is how, whoops, sorry about that. Here is how cliffhangers are like real life. You get to the point and you can't fast forward. That is how they are not like real life. I'm sorry, how they are like real life. Excuse me, I think my whole life is a cliffhanger right now. The way they are really like real life cliffhangers is because your life is a series of cliffhangers. You know, there are times where you might have somebody who's getting ready to have a baby, and you say, okay, is it a boy or a girl? And you have to wait for that reveal party. You've got a cliffhanger. You have to wait until that baby can be, you know, identified as whether it's a boy or a girl or twins inside the mother. That is a real cliffhanger. You can't say, okay, you know what, we just found out she's expecting yesterday. We're just going to fast forward. You can't do that. You have to wait. And that's how it is a real thing, okay? But you cannot go forward and know the truth until time actually passes by. So real time is the real reason why we have real cliffhangers in our lives. We can't fast forward, boys and girls. Sometimes you just have to wait. Now, I have to say this. Back in the day, before there were these remarkable and amazing machines that could tell women what their baby was before they even give birth, you had to wait until the day. So there would be all these men waiting. Do I have a pink banded cigar to hand out or a blue banded cigar to hand out? Because they didn't know until mama gave birth, and that's when they were. So that cliffhanger, my goodness, that was a real cliffhanger, and that lasted for 9 months until you finally found out the news. It's a little shorter now because you could find out in advance. But see, the same way we used to have to wait back in the day for soap operas, you know, like, will Gwendolyn marry Harold? Find out in the next episode of General Hospital or whatever it was. You had to wait. You had to wait the whole day and say, oh my goodness, will Gwendolyn marry Harold? Or, you know, will this one leave town? Or will this one get that new job? You had to wait. Now you could just sit and say, you know what, I think I'll watch all of season 12 of General Hospital and I'll find out everything. Well, it's not like that anymore. That's when it's not real, boys and girls. Waiting and really waiting, that's the real part. But you know what? Sometimes some of that waiting is not happy waiting. Sometimes you're finding out results of very serious medical tests, or maybe you're finding out whether or not somebody gets a job, and it's very important, whether or not they get approved for that mortgage on their new house. Those are the kinds of things that cliffhangers that we don't necessarily want to wait for, but sadly we need to. So if there's a cliffhanger in your life right now that you're waiting on, remember, be patient and wait, because good things come to those who wait. And sometimes it's not the answers that we like, but as long as we can hold fast and be patient, we will be able to deal with the answers once we get them. I know. I have a lot of cliffhangers in my life right now, and I just have to hang in there and realize they're not going to be like they are when I'm binge watching. No, they're going to be the way they are in real life. Hey, go be a blessing to somebody today. You know, you might end up being the only one who is. And if you have somebody out there who has a cliffhanger in their life, stand with them, hang in there with them, and help them keep strong as they wait for their answers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Jeannie Sigler, Jeannesigler. Click the subscribe button. And for great holiday programming, hey, don't forget to go to WRMZ.org and click the listen button. Okay, I love you all very much. And get ready, because a week from tomorrow is Christmas. That's a cliffhanger we're all hanging on to. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.